Oh my God. Hello, everyone. Sorry, my mic just decided that it would go unscrewed for some reason. How is everyone? Oh no, that's not very good English. How are everyone doesn't sound right either, does it? Since I'm being called out for my wording, people. You know, can everyone hear me okay? I don't know if I've killed this thing or what I've done to it. Oh dear. Let me say hello to everybody. Dear me, guys. Where do we start with this? This is insane to me. Okay. Hello, Fonda Cheeseman, Miss Justice, Ursa Bruin, Kiska, Sweetie Belle, how are you? T. Riley. Here's my true crime with Libby. A virtual hug back to you, sweetheart. You're just the best. And you've got, even if I say so myself, I feel our hearts are very much on the same page. More and more every single day. Plus we're both blonde too, which helps. I mean that in a good way. Oh, Annette Graff, your first time for a live. Awesome. I'm a lot later than I usually come on, but I had a sleep in this morning after all that shenanigans last night. We'll go into that in a little bit. Blazer fan, hello. May Hazel's here. How are you, May? Can hear you fine. Thank you so much. Fairy Dust Diaries is here. Hello. Oh my gosh. You guys. I haven't, I didn't come on yesterday because we had a road trip. We took the little kiddies for a drive and did some shopping. Like we have shops here, but they're not, there's no big malls or anything. So we went looking at, God, I can't even believe I'm about to say this, because we've always been anti-caravanners, but we actually went looking at some yesterday as well, and just putting feelers out there, because you know the amount of money a decent caravan costs, we've always sort of had the opinion that you can get an awful lot of motel rooms for the price of a caravan. But now that the son and daughter-in-law have bought one, it sort of would be fun to be able to go with them on little trips and stuff and just all hang together. So yeah, that's what we did yesterday, and we went out for lunch and it was lovely. But I missed you guys, and guess what? I still have my earbuds in the whole entire time. I was still listening to everybody, so I didn't miss a thing. I know, Libby. It's just, I don't know. It's just eerie. Like I can not, like say I've missed your live one day, okay, or I haven't caught up with a replay of one of your shows, or even before I come live, I can sort of be on a certain wavelength and a way of feeling about things. And then when I'm speaking with you or I watch one of yours, we're just very, very similar in the way we look at things, I think. And there's some sort of little telepathy connection happening there, I feel. But I love you to bits, and I love your support and your kind heart. I love all of you, but you know what I mean? It's just lovely. I went up on Libby's panel the day before and hung out with her and Elsie. Who else was? Oh, Mountain Girl. She's awesome. I actually got to have a conversation with her about our hobbies and stuff. That was really cool. Oh, you missed me. Oh, that's what I was saying the other day, Fairy Dust. You know, with all the ugliness that happens in these YouTube streets, the positive for me much more outweighs the negative horribleness. I think I've just got to learn how to balance out and put behind the roller door all the negative stuff that I do sometimes let get to me. But once I master, but then you wouldn't be human, would you? If you think you can just block it out and it doesn't affect you, because it does. So, oh, May Hazer would love a caravan. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get one, May. It's just, oh God, I think we've gone about it arse up though. We went to a caravan shop and they had an inside showroom and more outside. And we should have just went and looked at beat up ones first. Because once you go and see the brand new, up-to-date, trendy, really modern, you know, then you go and look at a second-hand one, you're just like, no, I don't want that one. I want the new one. The real fancy ones. Guys, what they have him in blew my mind. Do you know you can even get washing machines in them? You know, not that that's a major gotta have. It's sort of not for me at all. But we sort of just want one that the four of us can sleep in and it has a toilet and a shower in there, because I've got a thing about having to go, you know, like in caravan parks, it's always freaked me out, probably because I'm in this genre of life with true crime. But I wouldn't be comfortable with the girls having to go to walk over to a toilet block and all that sort of stuff. You wouldn't be able to sit back and relax, would you, really? Who else have we got in here? See how quickly I get sidetracked, guys? Fairy Dust, I said hi to you. Mum to one, hello. Welcome. Dino Mum, there's lots of mums in here today. I love it. But half the fun is making it your own. You'll be a star at making all the soft furnishings. I know. I've actually got to make 3 for my son's caravan so that they can 3 quilts so they can just stay in there all the time. They don't have to take them in and out of the house and stuff. But I'm just going to do like really quick machine ones for them. Yeah, Libby, I'm just like, I've always thought it was just because I've always, all my whole life since I was about 12, followed true crime. So I just thought it was me because I'm suspicious of everything anyway. But yesterday's the first time since we put our Ring cameras up that we were out of town. And it was so cool because if someone walked, past the footpath, I knew about it, come up on my phone. And that was really cool to see it actually working and setting off little visuals for me. Yeah, that's a good point too, Miss Justice. I never thought of that. Yeah, we've just, I used to be in a sewing group, like I still am. I just hardly ever get there anymore since we've had the girls. And plus I used to do sit and sew days at my shop, and you'd get all the people my age and older that had come in talking about their caravans, and I was just like, oh, shoot me now, come on. I just can't do this caravan stuff. And, they'd be talking about weights and all the caravan lingo. It was like a different language. And I was like, nah, just never gonna. And what used to crack me up, I know I'm not on subject yet, but they would sit there talking about how they took their caravan to a town, I'm not joking you, 25 minutes away, and they would stay there for the weekend. And I'd be like, why? Why wouldn't you just drive home? And things like that. But now I'm sort of starting to see it because I'm listening to my son and daughter-in-law talk about they've had a few little adventures already, and it just seems like so much fun and something we can share with them too now that they're older. So yeah, that's where yesterday went, and it was nice. It was nice to get out of the house for a little while. We have an RV, do you, Libby? We don't really know how to use it. That'll be like, hubby's pretty switched on with stuff like that, but yeah, I wouldn't have a clue either. You know, the very first fancy one I went into yesterday, I thought it was a little latch to open the shower door. This is funny. And I sort of slid it across, but it was the what do you call it? The little thing that keeps the whole door in place. You actually had to just pull the door open and it opened. But I thought it was a slide bolt, like, you know, and the whole bolt come out, and I'm standing there thinking, holy fuck, I've just broken this $80,000 shower caravan thing. Started hyperventilating. Hubby walks in, he goes, what are you doing? Because I'm standing there holding this bit of steel. He said, what did you do? I said, I don't know, seriously, it just straight into my hand. And he goes, get out of here. It was funny at the time. Like, it was something I could imagine one of the kids doing, but no, dumbass over here had to do it. Fairy Dust, we love and adore you too. Oh, guys, Fairy Dust loves every single one of you, and she would be lost without you. Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you on behalf of everyone in the chat. I've got a bit of hate the last few days, guys. Oh, and guess what, Libby? I think it's one of the comments is aimed at, well, I don't know if it was aimed, because remember I was on panel with you, but then I was on panel the night, I think I think it might have been the one the night before when I was on with John Q and Q. And I've got a fair bit of hate about being on that panel, and look, I've got to show you this. It's funny, seriously. Shush. Where is it? If we go my channel. How do I get videos? Bear with me for a minute. I don't, shush. Nope, it's not that one. Might have been the one I shared with John Crimes, was it? Community tab. That probably is it. Little haters. Yeah. I'm going to share this screen with you guys. I honestly think it's hilarious. Now, no, that was a good one. Here she is, this little one here. No. How do I make that bigger? And I've scrolled right to the end of the page too. That's shitty. Or maybe if I do this, it might come bigger. She's a sweet little one, this wee Scottish lass. And Bonnie Tiff Marie. It's a long name, hey? She says, this is what I like about Karma. You had to sit on the panel and badmouth Molly Golightly Laura Candle and Tiffany Marie, and you put them all in the same camp. Molly Golightly live with Donald Wells was, oh my effing gee, I dare you to stream it and show the flip-flop. And I was like, right, how do I see the replies? Oh, they're twirling. Hurry up. I do not want to wait. So she's a real happy chappy, this little one, this wee Scottish lass. At first I thought it was, you know how there's a few wee Scottish people, and we sometimes have wee Scottish ma come in, and she is just beautiful. And at first all I seen was the wee Scottish, and I thought, oh, she's usually quite lovely to me. I wonder what I've done. It won't come up, guys. Anyway, the one above her, this Lisa Haggins, she wasn't much better. She started off. So all the other creators don't have a past, don't have something you're ashamed of. Must be nice living in a glass house like that. Too bad this whole community cares more about what a creator did than finding summer. Maybe if you stop calling out people's pasts and actually talked about the cases, something might be discovered and there would be answers to finding summer. I honestly didn't think I'd see this channel jump on the mud sling wagon. Trust no one. Nobody cares about anyone but themselves. Like, at least that was really well worded, and it wasn't like an attacking one. It was just an opinion, and I appreciate that. Like, I didn't think I would end up in this situation either, Miss Lisa. And yeah, it is what it is. I'm not proud of the fact that I have to get into that mode, but when people are being attacked and threatened and bribed that they have to choose a side, I don't think I'm a bad person because I feel that. That's not okay. That's high school again. Like, let's not gloss it over. Why won't these comments come up? Come on, dude. I'll refresh it and see what happens. Oh, here we go. See? So with the wee Scottish lass one, I replied with, yes, and I have no desire in hell to stream any of them. I stand by what I have to say. I'll wait for karma, honey. Thanks for the comment, though, Petal. I appreciate you. Oh, dear. I just thought I was ever so sweet. And she goes, why would I know? And then she goes to me, you're welcome. You know you are kicking yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm seriously not kicking myself. Oh, so here we've got another big one. When did she put this up? You know why? Look what happened on the live. All the summer moon coverage creators would love to have, but you put Laura, Tiffany, Marie, and Molly all in the same camp. You play what happened. Flip-flop would have to be your new name. How do I flip-flop? For a start, if I say someone is a piece of shit, sweetness, I'm not going to flip-flop. Believe me. Tell me one time I've flip-flopped since I've lost my shit over what's gone on in the last 2 weeks. One person. tell me when I flip-flopped. I love all this attention. Every chat I go in with the name and say, just Q, I'm not going to say what she said, says block her. I'm doing voice to text just in case you say something about my grammar. Apparently I pick on people's grammar. I think I have once too, but I can't remember who it was about. I have professed that I'm a bit of a stickler for punctuation and stuff like that in comments. So maybe that's what she's having a dig about. I have no idea. But yeah, she needs a bit more, maybe voice to text. You know, you can say period, which means a full stop. So then it will pause for a tiny second and you don't get all that intermingle of words, you know, just saying, and commas. They help with the read to speech thing that you didn't type. Yeah? Maybe that can be a little tool for you to use in the future. Punctuation statements. It'll make it so much easier for me to read. But you gotta laugh, don't you? The shit they go on with. As if I am going to stream. Firstly, why the hell would Molly Golightly ring, 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 ring Donald to get him to go onto her show when soon as it was finished, she said, I don't know anything about this case. And someone said something about Ronnie Lawson. Who's Ronnie Lawson? Oh, look, I don't know anything about it. Who's this? Who's that? I don't know. And I'm like, well, what the fuck did you want him on your panel for? Like, why did you want to speak with him so badly? Why? I haven't covered the Summer Wells case. So if that isn't telling you right there that it's about the views for them three, because while Molly's talking shit and not having a clue what she's freaking talking about, here's Laura in the side, let him talk to me. I want to speak to him. Tell him to talk to me. And I was like, oh my fucking God, how embarrassing is this? You fool. Molly wasn't even acknowledging her for 95% of it. And Tiffany Marie's in the chat, chatting away like little Miss fucking whatever. I'm sorry, guys. I just thought, why would I stream that? I would be embarrassed. And as for the content, as with most people, the only two different things that come out of it was the fact that they were more intoxicated than they had been on 16 other channels. So it was nothing mind-blowing as in content other than what was said about Candace going down. But there's another thing that stood out big time to me. And the fact that they should have shut it down, in my opinion. I know what everyone's trying to do. Everyone's trying to get that moment that happened last night on their channel. They think if we can all like get him on and they get drunk and, you know, da-di-da-di-da, they're going to slip. Very similar to what happened last night. Okay, I get that. I totally understand that. But when it comes to the really, really horrible, nasty side, do people really, really, really have to see that? I don't know. I'm really conflicted. I understand why, but I don't know. It just, maybe it's because I'm triggered by it and it just upsets me and makes me think of the 4 kids and what they live like and all that sort of thing. Maybe that's the way I feel the way I do about when every channel just lets him channel hop and all that sort of stuff. And it's just, it is escalating, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. But what stood out to me, guys, was the Starlink thing. And no, I'm not going to stream it to give anyone any satisfaction, because I don't think there was anything on there other than I've got 7 alibis and Candice has got none and she's going down, that bit. But the bit before that, where he said, I've got Starlink, right? And she goes, what, Starlink? And then she turned around when she realised what he was talking about and said, don't tell lies, Donnie. Didn't she, right? Now, with Prayer Garden on Ziggy for the last 264 days, she said that Donald definitely had the Subaru that day. But she said, and I disagreed with her, I said, hell no, it can't be done. She said you can turn Starlink off, right? This is the computerized system in that Subaru. And I said, no, you can't. You can't turn it off. So there are 2 components to Starlink. There's the component that is on your phone, which, yes, you can turn off from your phone app. But then there's the guts of the computerized portion of it that is in the actual vehicle. And I was of the understanding, just with other documentaries I've watched, that these computer systems have to be removed with a special tool by a mechanic or a professional. That was my understanding of how these systems worked, okay? But I've researched, and that's not the case. You can ring up a Subaru dealer. I'm thinking I know, Miss Justice, we'll talk about that in a minute too. You can ring the dealership where you purchased it, if you bought it new or whatever, or a dealer, and they can deactivate it. But Subaru will still collect the metadata from that device in that car, meaning it can still be tracked and located. And a lot of times if it's under hire purchase, it's mandatory that that part of it stays active in the vehicle, like that the mechanics, the computer system in the car is not removed. Okay, so there's that. We still don't know 100% whether, because remember there was all that talk about whether that they don't pay it off, that they paid it outright when they bought it, that there are no monthly repayments on it. So if there are monthly repayments on it, they can tell if that device has been taken out of the vehicle, and they can actually come and pick that vehicle up and take it away. Okay, there's that, because they know that you've done that. They like to know the metadata coming out of that vehicle. But then, where's the one I clicked on? Hang on, I'll share the screen. You don't have to be a licensed mechanic or professional to remove the device out of the car. Isn't that interesting? Any Joe Blow, how do I see? So here's the app, and you can just turn off Starlink, which will it'll just stop the services right there and then from tracking and streaming media and all that sort of stuff. Okay, I'm just going to try and get back into where I was this morning. So you can ring up, you can have it cancelled. I think this is, you know how it comes up purple when you've visited a link earlier? Where's my purple link gone? Oh, here it is. This guy shows you exactly how to do it in 30 minutes. And you do, all you need is a plastic trim removal tool, a 10mm socket wrench, and a screwdriver. That's it. And anybody can take that little panel and device out of the vehicle. And my point is, why was she saying, I'm not saying he's gone in there and taken out the whole thing, but it is, I always thought that a professional had to take it out or put it back in. There was a special little tool, da-di-da-di-da. But he seems really car savvy as well, doesn't he? Like he was talking to Doug yesterday about this engine and that engine, and, you know, he seems like a bit of a car perv in one way, shape or another. And when she's saying stop lying, Donnie, she's saying stop lying that you're in a vehicle that didn't have the Starlink? Or is she saying the Starlink wasn't in there at that time? Because it only takes half an hour to take it out and put it back in again, to stop any data from relaying back to the factory. I don't know, I just find it all quite amusing. Not amusing, but made me look at things a little bit differently. Miss Justice says 7 alibis with Starlink, 7 places he went on. Well, I looked at that as Starlink was one alibi, his boss was another alibi, then there were so many co-workers, didn't he say, that he spoke with during the day? Yeah, I sort of looked at the 7 as, you know, humans and the Starlink and the tracking of his phone and that sort of thing. Miss Justice, I could be wrong. He could have meant, you know, he went 7 different places and Starlink could prove that. I don't know. But I am really shocked that it's so easy to take that device out of a vehicle. Anyway, I've also messaged a mechanic friend of ours to ask him more about it. He does all these new computerized cars and systems and all that sort of thing. I don't blame Candice for thinking Starlink is a woman, because Don talks to enough of them online. Any conversation last night, she would have, wouldn't she? She was, it doesn't matter whether he's talking to a male or a female on these lives. She just goes apeshit, doesn't she? She is so angry about it. But I don't think that's anything new. Does anyone else think that? I don't think it's just because the kids are not there that they're now being aggressive and throwing shit at each other and all that sort of thing. I think this is just them on any ordinary given day, sadly. I know, Libby. It's just, oh my God. But yeah, let's, I don't know. It's just something else to think about, isn't it? But as far as your Candace is going down, I think, you know how, I hate to have to say her name so many times in this stream, but you know how on Ziggy's panels, Prayer Garden was talking about how they'll have these little childish fights, and it's like a game of mudslinging towards each other. She was right about that, because that's what they were doing last night. And she said that they would blame each other. So they were doing that last night, weren't they? Whether it's an aha moment. Does anybody know? Because, hi Twiggy, hi Tiffany Cherie. So why is what so surprising? Tiffany? Why is that so surprising? The Starlink or their behaviour towards each other? I don't know which part you're talking about, that's all. But I thought I'm just behind the times with vehicle technology, because I always thought that it was sort of under the hood and in the little chips in the car and all that sort of stuff. I didn't realise. So when that Starlink thing is removed, no data of tracking can be tracked back to the vehicle, it says. So did Tiffany Cherie answer me? No. Yeah, and why doesn't Grandis come in and just try and settle them down and like, you know, they're just so used to that's the way it is. It's just horrible and toxic. And you know how I keep bringing up my little friend, tarot lady, and she said someone's going to be deceased in the 11th month. You know, like I get really, really stressed that what if she, you know, especially with this Link Star. Hi, AB. How are you? Link Star will have all the answers. Thank you for that information. But yeah, it's quite interesting that I'm going to write that down. Link Star. I haven't had much to do with Subarus, unlike Nissans, and actually, I think I had a Subaru one time. I did. I had a little red one, and it was like a little bubble, and the roof was really high. Liana, Subaru Liana I had. It was really cute, but I nearly rolled it on the freeway, so I got rid of it. Twiggy says, I think talking to women is to feed his ego, and he does. You know what? He is so quick to flip, isn't he? Like, if you're going along with his context of what he's saying, he's cool. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, I appreciate that. Oh, that's so nice of you. That's so lovely of you, you know? But as soon as you say one thing, like, what? You don't know your daughter's birthday? See how fucking quick you can turn it around and say, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, that's seriously schizophrenic. He has deep, I'm not a psychologist. Hillbilly Heart is hopefully going to come on in the next day or two. I know she's feeling a lot better. And we're going to go over some stuff like that. But it blew my mind last night to just see how quick that fuse set him off. And I know intoxicated people have short fuses and, you know, but that is like flick of the switch quick, isn't it? I was like, whoa, man, that is too much the way, yeah. Like he's done it a couple of times on Ziggy's channel, but not that aggressive, not that quick to really lose his shit. And it's really scary to me, honestly. If car paid for, you can remove it, but the device records the interruption. Yes, Annette. That's what I'm saying. If they took it out for any period of time, then the company know that you've interrupted it and that it's been removed. They'll know straight away. Exactly right. And surely if he did, law enforcement would be aware of that as well, wouldn't they? So I'm not saying it's a big thing. I'm just saying I was shocked that it was so easy. This guy does it in 30 minutes, you know? So it's an hour, taking it out, put it back in again, and nothing is tracked. Whereas in the Barry Morphew case, they can tell when that vehicle has moved 2 feet and in which direction and for how long and which car doors were open and for how long. Like, that side of it just is so telling, isn't it? But I always thought that it had to be done by a professional. So at least I've satisfied my own mind now that no, it doesn't have to be done by and I guess in one way I have to apologise to Prayer Garden that she was right and I was wrong. You know, that sort of, I was like, oh, damn, I hate that. That's crazy. Well, Mum for Life, from day one, I've always thought Candace was the more aggressive one that would like get stuck into Don and the kids and everything. I've always thought that. Maybe for 2 hours after the Chris McDonough interview thing, I did have a bit of empathy and felt sorry for it. Like, you wouldn't be normal if you didn't feel a little bit sad for her. But then I was like, nah, you're doing it, stop. You're getting sucked in, stop it. Remember the people you know from a long, long time ago that this is what they're professional at doing it. They know exactly how to suck people in and manipulate them so that they think of you a certain way, you know? So I was straight back on my original thoughts. But last night, he was actually going back harder than I thought. Because every other time it seems like he was just like trying to pacify her and keep her calm. And last night he was nearly baiting her, wasn't he? He was like enticing her. she'd say one word and he'd be calling her a fucking dumbass and all this sort of shit. Like, any woman's going to burr up, but he was giving it back to her last night as much as she normally gives it to him. And yes, Miss Libby, what? Prayer Garden was right. Yeah, she was right. But I'll own it. I was wrong. Like, guys, if I've stuffed up with anything, I'm not an investigator. I'm not a journalist. Everything on this channel is from Google or me, on my opinions. So please, let's not. I've never professed to be anything than what I am. This is a discussion channel, and we're just going over everything that we think, aren't we? Like, yeah, it's crazy and scary. Like, I shouldn't watch that shit while I'm lying in bed trying to go to sleep. Let's just say that. Because mentally it's not healthy. You go to sleep and you're thinking and listening to this as you're dozing off, and it plays games in your mind while you're sleeping. And I had a couple of really horrible bad dreams last night, and I think that's why. Oh, Miss Libby, I don't even know what that number is. Okay, I'm going to have a go. Okay, Miss Teacher, you tell me if I'm wrong. 78,095,000 and first. Am I right? It was cold and he wouldn't make a fire. I know, but that was the other thing. Thank you, Tiny Dancer, and welcome. If I didn't say hello already. I've talked about it before over and over, the childlike mentality of Candace. It's like she's talking to her dad, like, I want a fire, and tantrums. I want one now. Donnie, get me a fire. And it's so, I don't know, it freaks me out a bit, because it's not like she's just 15. It's like she's 8 or 9. Like, that's how an 8 or 9-year-old talks to a parent. Not like, sweetheart, would you mind getting some wood for the fire and just stir it up a bit for me? Like, there's no logical sentence. It's like an 8-year-old demanding, get me a cookie now. I want it now. Isn't it? It's just, I just don't think she has ever been intellectually anywhere above the age of 14 at any time in her life. And I know that's really, really horrible, but that's just the way I see her mentality. Maturity-wise, I don't think she's able to run a household and look after those kids, because if anything, the oldest one's probably more mature than she is at this point. And that's been realistic, isn't it? Maybe, in my opinion. Oh, the door. That fucking door, Tiny Dancer. He really meant that. Like, and the way he said it. AB, if you're still in here, it reminded me a bit of you, actually. He's probably not, but anyway. You know when AB says, get out of my fridge, get out of my cupboards. I know he's being, he's just mucking around with his daughter, but it was sometimes, if you don't know or you haven't been in AB's chat rooms forever, you don't understand. That's just the way, he's talking to his daughter, okay? But last night when Candace must have pulled a door or something, you couldn't see what she was actually doing to this door, but he flew for her and said, don't you fucking break my door. It was his door, wasn't it? Not the door. Don't you break my door. And I was like, wow, it's all them little words sometimes that catch my attention and what's not said. But, you know, I always have digs with hubby, like he'll say something about, okay, here's one. So invoices, I do all the paperwork for his drywalling business, okay? And, you know, he might come home and say, oh, did you do my bills today? Or meaning, have I done the invoices and got them out to the builders? And I say, your invoices. But that's not a good example because they sort of are his invoices. You know what I mean, you know, something in the house that is his, not ours. It's not a joint thing. That burns me up at any time. So that's probably why that stood out to me, because I don't like it when, you know, especially when a female is the homemaker and the male refers to anything in the house as his or my mortgage. Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? That sort of, I sort of arc up straight away because probably because I am a middle-aged female. And you see, well, I've had so many friends that have got divorced in the last 10 years and they've got to start from scratch. So it's sort of, I don't know, it's just something that I pay attention to. I wonder if we can split the caravan. You know, divorce is a horrible thing, guys. Like, honest to God, don't think we would ever, ever, ever. But, you know, these things happen to couples that you think are awesome. And these guys have been living like this for, what have they been together, 13 years? And you can't tell me, I might be wrong, and I'll own it if I'm wrong, that she stopped all substances while she was pregnant with each child. That's sort of pretty, I just don't think she's one of them people that would go without just because she's pregnant, if you get me. Yeah, it's like constantly begging. And then that cemented different things that Jenna and them had said on Ziggy's panels about their behaviour and the way they treat each other and what they say to each other, you know? Yeah, she is begging attention, rather give it. Get me a fire, Donnie. It's just bizarre. That's why I believe Summer. Hi, Chloe's love. Welcome. I haven't seen you before. That's why I believe Summer is missing. She didn't want the attention on Summer, but Summer isn't there and he does give her attention until they are drunk. Then they dislike each other. Yeah, well, a lot of people have said that Candace was jealous of Summer, haven't they? Yeah, but then they do the, oh, babe, you know, hey, baby. And I'm like, I've never, ever, ever once called hubby babe. It's just not the way we speak, but lots of people do. It just sounds a bit, I don't know. I suppose it's better than motherfucker. Just getting started. They love each other. Yes. I've been in relationships, Veritas says. I refuse to beg someone for attention. I just leave the relationship at that point because it's not worth staying in. No, totally agree. But she is that dependent on him. That's another thing I was thinking about. Not just in the financial sense, it's every tiny little thing going by the way she's been the last 2 weeks or so in the background and just listening to the way they interact. I'm surprised she can fart without asking him first, because it's a different dynamic. 1 minute she's, I don't know, it's to me nearly everything is a tantrum. I'm finding it really, really difficult to articulate what I'm trying to say. If anyone can help me out here. Even when she's sober, she's still childlike. It's just, that's the other thing going around today about H being there on the day. And that's why she would be so attracted, trigger warning, guys, sorry, to a 15-year-old, because mentally that's her age group. She seems meek. Yeah, and how many of them ladies on Ziggy's panels have said, like, she's really likable. She's really nice. And I quite believe that, Mum for Life, because I've said, I've had friends over the years and they are the most beautiful people, but as soon as they have a couple of drinks, and you can tell after even 2 drinks what's going to happen, and you're just like, I'm out of here. I know what they're going to be like in an hour's time. So I just think of some things I've got to take care of and off I go. But yeah, it's horrid, isn't it? You can't understand Candace, whatever. So when she's drunk, Don turns more aggressive towards Candace and those on panel. Yeah, but if you're just going along with his narrative and whatever he's raving on about, which you're not getting anywhere, because you're not going to get information out of him while ever you're sitting there agreeing with him. In my opinion, you do have to challenge him to get something different, because nearly every creator is asking exactly the same bloody shit. But the birthday one last night, he didn't like that one little bit, because he knew that she had him on toast. But what surprised me is that just because Candace was drunk, that she couldn't think of which kid's birthday was when. I was like, no way, surely Candace would know Summer's birthday. And I think sober she probably would. Libby said, oh my God, Sharon said fart. Oh dear. Yes, I believe she was jealous, and my hubby wouldn't even change my daughter's diaper. Oh, you're kidding. See, that's not my sort of male. I like good daddy. My hubby, he's the best dad, honestly. Really, really. Hi, Sandy Ridgway. I'm behind in the chat, guys. I'm really sorry. Sharon said fart. Oh, has Ziggy been on today? Candace was waving, pointing a knife at Don. Really, mate? Holy shit, I didn't see that. But once I did, it's very freeing. Yeah, fairy dust. I agree with you too about that. But yeah, there's certain people just to, in a social situation, if you know them well and you know how their personality is going to change after a few beers or rums or whatever. And that's another thing. Some people can drink beer all night and they're totally fine, but give them one rum and they're off like a rocket. She also broke a court order by contacting H to say, don't say anything about the twisted tea. So what court order was right at the beginning, Miss Justice? Was there a court order way back then when they were just bringing them in to question them? But yeah, I agree. She shouldn't have been contacting him. I don't think you're allowed to do that. But I don't know about court order. So what? Anyone? I should have time-stamped it so AB can clip out bits to give me shit over. Now they're all coming to cause problems. I'm not saying AB was here to cause problems. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. So I don't even know how to set up timestamps. If anyone knows, send me some advice. I'm not going to let people try to intimidate me into feeling, how do we say it, guys? I'm never going to feel vulnerable or submissive or take shit from any creator in these YouTube streets. So before you come for me, petals, be warned. I have a trip to Canberra in the next week, which is going to be so interesting. The capital. Lots of government departments there. Lots of things to educate myself with. Let's just say that. I'm excited. So excited. TBI told her not to, according to H. Yeah, well, they would, wouldn't they, Libby? They would be saying, do not contact anybody to discuss what we've spoken with you about today and da-di-da-di-da. But in the interview with Chris McDonough and H, he said that or Ali said, could have been Ali's interview with Unmasked, that they let TBI know that she had contacted them. So I don't know. Surely to God, something's got to be laid out soon about something. I want to know why he didn't have to stay for the mandatory violation of probation holding. Why did they let him just walk straight out of that courtroom, guys? Apparently that's not normal. I don't understand why they want him out. Is it because they know he's going to lose it and this is all going to blow up and it's really, really close? Like, is there a behavioural team just watching because they know where it's going with YouTube and everything else? And they're just doing what everyone else is doing and just waiting for that slip up? I don't know. There's a reason why they haven't held him for anything. And did you also notice in the conversations with Ziggy's panel, Doug's panel, Molly's panel, how he's got nothing but praise for law enforcement and Ronnie Lawson now? Like, that's flip-flop from a week ago. And I mean a week ago. Because a week ago he didn't like Ronnie Lawson and he didn't know his street. And how would he know what goes on Ben Hill Road? He doesn't fucking live here. Wasn't he? But now, got the utmost respect for Ronnie Lawson. Like, they're buttering his bread, so he thinks that he's home and hose. You know, they told me with tears in their eyes that they're doing everything they can to find my baby girl. They're playing him like a fucking fiddle. You just sit back and watch, guys. It's happening. How does he go from hating law enforcement 1 minute and then he's on besties terms? Like there's something going on. I just know there is. I don't. That's not fact. I'll take that back. In my opinion. Can we ring Quantico and see if they can just clarify for us what they think? Wouldn't that be just awesome? I wonder if they have a live chat. And just come over here and just say where they're up to in this process and just help us out a lot, wouldn't it? Chloe's Love says, where I live, if you're on bond and got a the probation violation, your bond is revoked and you go to jail. You don't pass go. Why did he? I know. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Is Hillbilly Hard in the room right now, guys? Has anyone seen her? All right, I know what we're going to do. Okay, let's do this. We'll go here, if I can find it. He explains it so well. I don't think she'll mind. She loves me. Don't you, Liz? Liz does love me. Some people love me. Not everybody, though. That hurts my heart. Because I love everybody. Here we go. I'm not going to play the whole thing because this is all about the creators, like treating each other like shit for the first time.
Misrepresenting themselves, that they're financially extorting people, or that what they're doing is not enough, or when they're doing amazing things, just putting up billboards.
Yeah, that's about creators.
Right now, I'm ducking more than anything because I need to be on here to reach as many people. But sometimes we have to also expose our not so best self to let people understand that we're still being affected by this. Even though we have a clinical clinicians in your life, please continue doing this. You have a great voice and a great mental thought pattern. It needs to be here. It needs to be present on YouTube. You have to be a voice that's here on YouTube. You're wonderful. I would love to do a panel with you at some point when I feel better. But I just want to let you know that true crime right now in the community is basically consuming itself. And if we don't shift it and it doesn't stop, it will cease to be anything positive. It will cease to be anything that can help any victim of a crime. It will cease to stop victimization for new crimes. And it will just become a laughing joke, a moniker of what could have been. And it won't be because of the good people that care. It will be because of the people that broke it down, because they would rather sit on a pile of shit than pick beautiful bouquets to think that, you know, they're precious. And I may not agree with all of you, but I can pick this one thing that you said and I can put it in my bouquet and we can share that. Instead of hoarding the crap and wanting to throw it back at other people. It's just so adults should have so many more abilities to function at capacity rather than show their dysfunction below capacity. And everyone's not meeting the bar for me lately. I'm sorry, you're just simply not meeting the bar for me lately. And so I don't give you my energy because I don't believe my energy will be appreciated. I don't think my energy will be put to good use. I think my energy will be turned and sent back as ammunition. And I don't think that my energy will help. The true basis of this is to educate people about this, educate people how to stop it, and keep these stories alive so that people are keeping looking, searching, and educating for these children and how to stop other kids from being put in these positions, other people being put in these positions. So I have enough energy today to be irritated about this because I found out that right now I'm a huge fan of Dr. Latina. Huge fan. Could that change? Yeah, it could potentially change. I've only seen her speak a few times, but I am extremely enamored with the way that she expresses herself. And she's right about a couple of things. The disengagement from being helpful to being harmful in the community is got to stop. And then she was talking about the overall treatment of Dawn and Candace, and how, what is it, the appearances, the appearances, like is, she was, of course she's Spanish. The Spanish term that came to my mind was fanfarrón. They turned into braggarts and went to Hollywood and got new teeth and hair and lived it up, at the cost of their child. Just process that for a moment. The admission cost for that was their child. To me, that's what it looks like, a transaction. And that bothers me. But Don did have a DUI arrest. And he did have a violation of probation also placed on him. But he was released. But let me tell you, after a decade of being a probation and parole officer in criminal courts, if you have a criminal court violation of probation, you 99.9% of the time get a no bond, which means you are not being released until you see the criminal court judge. And in rural communities, that's normally once every 4 to 6 weeks, because they do a circuit of 5 or more counties. So technically, Don should have been arrested and kept in jail until he saw a criminal court judge. There is some reason that they have released him. I can't say it's for any kind of treatment purposes, because I have not seen any treatment happen from a Department of Corrections standpoint for Don Wells. They're certainly not speaking about it if it is happening. But I will let you know that Tennessee Department of Corrections does have forensic social workers. These forensic social workers are licensed clinicians that can see these people in a clinical setting, send them to treatment that the Department of Corrections has contracts with facilitators in order.
I have to pause it every now and again. Otherwise, I can get in trouble, apparently. I'm just going to shut this door a tiny bit. Because the birds, my little budgies, get really noisy sometimes. Hi, Holly Berry. How are you, sweetheart? When I don't come on every day, I miss seeing some people. Liz is so knowledgeable, guys. I did an interview with her way back, like such a long time ago, like 3 months. And we've been really, we even had a hiccup, like we had a little bit of a discrepancy. But as adults, we communicated and we got through it. And I treasure her more and I call her a friend every single day. She is a rock to me. If she can see that I'm going down a sticky situation, she will say, Sharon, just try and look at it, maybe this, maybe that. And she's awesome, guys. So we need to sub to her and support her as well, because she's very, very knowledgeable. But even from the very first video I ever watched of hers, like, I'll talk about my accent, okay? I don't feel I have one, but obviously I do. But she talks so fast, and I'm like, what? And I had to slow it down because I wasn't actually absorbing everything she was trying to say, because my brain couldn't keep up with how fast she talks. And then what gets me is she lives in the same area. Maybe someone can explain this to me, because I'm not from Tennessee, but she lives in the same sort of area as Scott H. Now, when you can, this is the shit I sit back thinking about. I'm like, well, how come that is? Because my little brain's just ditzy at times. You look at how fast Liz talks, and she's from the same area. And then you listen to Scott H, and sometimes you have to speed him up because he's really, really slow. And I just sit there thinking, what? Yeah, I know. But anyway, I stopped it so we can keep playing now. I just don't want to annoy anyone.
These treatments can be sought, completely paid for by the state. They also have working contracts for drug rehab and other stuff like that, where they can get grant beds, scholarship beds, and these people can go basically paid for treatment. So the fact that we're not seeing Dawn Wells either being pushed into some kind of treatment protocol or program, or at least some kind of pending treatment plan for these specific issues we've been seeing with this family, bothers me greatly. To see that we have not seen an active officer engage and Dawn speak about, oh, right now I have this supervision standard that I have to do. I have this special condition that I have to comply with because of all this. I have to do this. He's not talking about that. He doesn't feel obligated at all to his supervision, apparently, which is confusing to me, because the Department of Corrections is set up to have this capability to treat them immediately and almost free, and they have the licensed clinicians in their world, in each district, that should be doing this. And yet we're not seeing anything occur. I'm not seeing any treatment. I'm not seeing any protocol. I'm not seeing any violation where you're staying on another one. I'm not seeing anything work the way that it worked for me when I was an officer for a decade. And that concerns me, because it tells me either there's a fear that if he's not in the home, something's going to happen in the home, or there's a fear that if they remove him and something happens to him, they will be at fault. So who is the bigger security cat? I don't know. That's one thing I would like to know, because they certainly are not taking advantage of the things that could benefit this man and his family at all. And with the violation of probation and the paper that he has on him, he is subject to be basically at the will of the state. And they could force a lot of treatment that, yes, if he's not going to buy into it, it will not matter. But it may start something that creates a change within him that does take hold.
Guys, would they bother doing that with his criminal history and at his age? I'm wondering. And hi, Hunt for Justice. Another Aussie is in the house. Welcome. Hello, room. And oh, you're not from down under. I'm down under. Sorry, I thought you said hello, room from down under. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought about that too. Like, would they still recommend treatments and stuff when clearly by his criminal record he has been offered these services in the past? Is it a waste of a service and that's why they haven't pushed for that to happen? I don't know. I don't know the answers to these questions, but how it makes you think, doesn't it?
And I can't tell you why they have not started this at this time. It bothers me. But, I would say that I am appalled that human behavior is something that I've studied for a long time, and I know how vindictive and vicious people can be. I just, at some point, normally see that vindictiveness take a break for a little brief moment of humanity to shine through, and I'm not seeing that in the true crime community these days. And I'm seeing the great people get attacked. I'm seeing the people that are doing nothing and take on the role of they're doing something simply because they're tearing apart the people that are actually doing things. And so they're saying, well, they're not doing it because I tore it apart, but I'm doing something because I dismantled them. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're breaking down the ladder we're all climbing to try to get to the top of these stories and shout this knowledge from the hilltops, to share it with as many people and as many voices as possible.
Exactly.
To keep this growing, to keep awareness and just emboldening and building every day. I want to sit atop a ladder of education. I want to sit atop a ladder of concern and commitment to my community. I want to sit atop a ladder of friendship and support, positivity. I want to sit atop a ladder that says, I don't want this to happen again, and I want to show people that there are positive and embracing adults that want to build a community, to create a better way to look at this, study this, learn about it, and stop these things in the future. I want to sit atop that ladder. So I would like for some of you to climb off your pile of shit and start climbing my ladder.
I love it.
And if you want to stay on your pile of shit, don't throw it at me. it's sad to be sick for so long and to come out and to want to reach into this little box where I've made so many friends and see something positive. And all I see is disheartenment, disdain for people that are trying to do good things, drama that doesn't need to be there, people squabbling over pennies when there are lost lives, lost children, absolutely depleted families. And you're worried about if you got enough clicks or likes today. Have a big talk with yourself and your ego. If you want to sit on your pile of shit, throw it at other people, I can't stop you. I certainly will not aid and abet you. We can do better, people. We can do better. We have to.
We know the ones that will, but isn't she just amazing with expressing how she feels? You know, I go from 0 to 100 with emotion, and it just doesn't verbalize articulately what I'm trying to say, where Liz can get what is going on with me and get it out like that, and it's just like a song that I'm trying to sing. And that is basically what everything has come down to, is views. And that makes me sick to my stomach, especially when someone like MGL begs and begs and begs and redials Don to get him onto her panel, when the first thing she said after he got off was, I don't cover the Summer Wells case again, so why the fuck did you want him on your panel? Why? Because everyone else is getting so much more attention and views than you. Makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Yeah, Daisy, well said. She couldn't have, like, I didn't play all of it. The first half of it is more about the creator drama and her thoughts on that and why people are doing what they're doing. And she explains, she's been in hospital. That's why she hasn't been in here that much lately. She does have long-term health issues, and sometimes, you know, she has to spend some time in hospital, but I'm sure she will come on and in the next couple of days as she's recovering and explain things about the parole system and what should have maybe happened, not only with the DUI and them charges, but also the violation of probation and that sort of thing. Oh, you're kidding me. Right now, Libby? Really? Jesus, it never bloody ends, does it?
Yeah, and we don't know what kind of trauma decompression they're going through with therapists.
I'm going to jump off because Angelina Dawn just asked if she could pop on, Doug, because she is a master's level.
I think we actually hit that before you came on. Maybe not, but I think we did. My question is this, and I'm going to bring up another channel right now. The people called, I guess, Voices Behind the Walls is coming out with a lot of mumbo jumbo today. That's BS. Can they be in trouble for saying that they're not turning over any of the stuff that they had and they're deleting everything and not turning it over to TBI when they said they've turned over everything to TBI, but now they're making it seem like they're deleting everything and they don't want any part of this anymore? Are they already a part of this, or is deleting going to even help them?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I mean, they came out and they talked. I mean, they were even talking trash about you and all this stuff today, and saying that we're all liars and this and that. We set this up and formulated all this, which is nonsense. But at the same time, once Dawn was done,
Was
with
it a
it,
different Tiffany?
Oh, not much. I'm just listening to all of you.
And
Mhm.
that's revealed itself
Yeah, I
in
think it
my
is.
opinion. I saw it a long time ago, and that's why I
I
kept
don't think
asking
it's
him,
Tiffany
how
Marie.
old was she? And he didn't answer. And I asked him again, how old
It's
was
not.
she?
She has an
Well, we
avatar.
were young. How old was she?
You didn't back down. That's
No.
that's the key. Is
And I
that
still
you
haven't
you,
backed.
you maintained your position.
Right. You have to. And that's where I'm going with this. We're not teaching our children
Yeah.
how to have the positioning of saying no. Okay. And this is the reason why. Okay. Because this has taken the place of the ability to say, here, okay, you're not doing that.
right?
Okay. Hey, Judy, hey, John, hey, Tom, what do you do when somebody does this to you? Okay, click, click, click. Answer. Oh, just walk away. I'm hypothesizing here, right?
Right.
But this is the principle. And the studies, I think at some point, because he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yep.
He was doing, because his is a control mechanism. And that's what Don was doing last night. Okay. That's what was going on last night and we saw it, unfortunately, to two women he didn't even know.
Right.
He doesn't know them. And we saw that. Now think through that.
And he was thinking that it was a cousin or something, Jenna or something. He was like, "Oh, I'm not talking to Jenna," and they're like, "No, that's somebody else." He thought he was talking to somebody he knew. Don has no clue. He's got no cognizant sense of who he's dealing with, right? He really doesn't. He'll just click on a link.
Right.
He'll do whatever. He don't give a shit.
Yeah. Right. And that's an extremely revealing piece of the puzzle that came forward last night. Because if he's done this there, all right, and he did it on, now he had liquid courage in him, obviously, maybe something on board, something was going on. But the fact that he one of the things that I've been is what he says about Summer. You notice he uses the analogy of when she breaks. And
Talking about Candace? Candace breaking?
No, when Summer breaks.
No, summer.
Summer. Okay.
When Summer breaks. That's my lisp again.
Give us an example, please.
Sinners. That's my sinners.
I'm a
My
sinner.
sinners.
I'm lagging.
I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner, Doug.
Big time.
But
Wait, so give us an example, please.
When he says how he used to scold her, and then he would have to apologize multiple times.
We see that within his behavior.
Well, what Summer saw was what those two women saw
Yeah.
last night.
That makes
Right.
sense.
So he was. That's how
I'll put a
she
bingo
was.
card of $1,000 on that.
Mhm.
Wow, guys, I never thought of it like that. He is so right there. So when Donald flies off, no wonder Summer would be so upset and and emotional because he's scolded her. Because the way he did it last night with MGL and whatever her face is how he would come across with his kids as well. Because that's his angry, like that's his, oh my God. Like we all get elevated when we get angry. But can you imagine being like that with a little 5-year-old little girl? Oh my God.
Well,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
so
Absolutely.
sad. Disgusting.
And that in of itself, okay, it tells you. Remember how he justifies it.
Child,
There's
isn't that child abuse? Is that not child abuse in any
I don't
form?
know. Because we don't know what the victim says.
Right.
Okay. We know what he says. It's kind of like what he says about his stepsisters. Okay. Well, they were younger. Well, how old? Well, they were younger. Well, how old? Okay. Well, he was 12 and she was 5. Okay. 5. Now, and this is a piece of the puzzle that I think people are forgetting. Okay, and we need not forget this about these survivors. Okay. He can say all he wants about them, which he's trying to. Okay. But here's a question for him. What about the girl who spent
Liz, we just played, I hope it's okay. We played half of your video from the other day when you were talking about the parole violation and stuff. I hope it's okay that we did that. We only played the last half of it. And it travels straight to physical anger. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my stepfather was 1,000,000% that person. Like that's how he behaved on a daily basis, to the point where if he was working on a vehicle, for an example, and he asked you to go and get him say multi-grips or something, and I brought back a spanner, I would wear that spanner and be called every stupid name under the sun and sworn at and effing go back and get what you were told to get. You know what I mean? So I know how that feels from being a tiny little kid up until I was old enough to say, you speak to me like that again and you will be in jail. And he backed off then. But then he started on the 2 younger ones. That's just who they are. And it's really, really, really sad and triggering and horrible. Or even if Libby says, or even if he didn't get elevated with her, she may have been fearful that it was coming. And for her to witness it between them is traumatic. Absolutely. Look, I can remember my mum and stepdad having physical fights. And he was one of them people that always had one mug for his cups of tea, and no one was allowed to touch that mug. As I got older, do you know how many of those I deliberately went and got and smashed just out of pure anger and retaliation of him hurting my mother? It just, we've all got a story. Some are just worse than others, but I could have been like that with my children. And they say that happens so much, it's learnt behaviour. Chris McDonough says it. all the time, but I'm not him. And I'm so grateful that from a teenager onwards, I knew what sort of parent I wanted to be and the sort of person I wanted to be. Sadly, my sister went down a different path. She just could not cope mentally with any of it, you know. So it's funny looking at this Don Candace dynamic, because it does bring back so many horrid memories for me, but I don't dwell back there. And I've explained it to Liz before about, and I don't try to make this all about me, but it gives a perspective as a child how mentally they're screaming in their head and they want it to stop. And, you know, if there's something you can hurt them with to just get it out, you know, to me it was smashing his favourite cup, and I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? I don't know. At that age, I didn't know how to hurt him back, you know, because here I am, a tiny little kid. And I want him to stop, you know, bashing on my mum. And he tried to drown her once in a bathtub and different things like that. And it was horrific. So I get what it's like living up in that household. And that is why I should not have been listening to it last night, and why I got so emotional that they shouldn't have aired it. And I probably should have said that at the beginning of this video. But now listening to Chris, it's made it come out. And I'm not ashamed of it. It's my story, but it helps you guys understand, maybe from the kids' points of views. I totally understand they don't want to go back there. Like, I get it. But that was their normal then. They hadn't lived anywhere else. It doesn't sound like they went to relatives in Utah for a block of school holidays or any, like, even something like that can open their eyes to dynamics of a household with what is normal, and make you start sort of thinking, well, why is it like this at my house? You know? But I don't think these kids spent any sort of lengthy, even weekends, sleeping over at other people's houses and things like that. Because that's when you start to see that, holy shit, what's going on here? And you go through that stage. It's horrible. But I understand that fear and anxiety and, you know, trying to protect my little brother and sister. Guys, if you haven't watched John Crimes's video on little, Jesus, it's a documentary about a little girl. She's 12 years old. Is it Vera Jo? Anyway, you'll see it in his, I will put the description in, I'll put the link in the description. I'm in another headspace right now. Got to get rid of it because it's going to give me a horrible afternoon. You need to go over and watch it, because what that little girl, 12 years old, went through, leading her to end her life, is one of the saddest, most heart-wrenching things I have watched in many, many, many years. And he did a magnificent job. When he does them sorts of documentaries, from what I've learned over the last few weeks, he tries to do it from the victim's point of view, No, Vera is the one that her boyfriend and a mob of this one family, Sugar Babe. If you haven't watched that, watch that one too. There's actually a documentary on Netflix about that, Good Night Sugar Babe. If it's not on Netflix, it's on Stan in Australia. But it might even be on YouTube, I don't know. But it's called Good Night Sugar Babe. You have to watch that. It gives you another insight to what these sort of families and the dynamics of generational SA and parental abuse in every single level you imaginable that these people do. But the other one I'm talking about is purely on what led up to this little 12-year-old girl ending her own life. And yeah, it's deep, but he done an awesome job with it. And I think I cried for like 3 hours after I watched it on Friday night, our time. Hi, Patty. Welcome. Hi, Libby. Been triggered by that video. Fall asleep with a chat on in sound asleep. Bad memories. Yeah, that's exactly right. I've got to be more careful of what I'm actually listening to. If it's just general chat, but when it's like that was last night, it's not a good idea, and I need to pull myself up before I let myself do that, because it's sort of my fault for not turning it off. Hi, the real Gigi. How are you? Yeah, we were streaming a bit of Doug's, but I don't want him to get shitty with me either, so can you hear that bird? It's a wild one. I don't own that one. That was good. Are you new in here, Patty? If you are, welcome to Down Under. Ronnie Lawson. Hi, Leonie Williams is hoping either kill each other, then he will get away with all his dodgy corruption business in this case, and then we will probably never find Summer or what happened to her. I don't know. I think they have deliberately kept him out of lockup for a reason, though. Oh, Liz, can we do a live during the week when you are feeling more on top of things and feeling better about? I want to talk about little Cleo Smith and her aftercare for her and her family since she's been found alive. Awesome news, wasn't it? And yeah, this unfolding situation with Donald and Candace and these charges and parole and all that sort of stuff, because I don't understand. And like, you know, that was your occupation. You know all this sort of stuff. So that would be awesome. She says absolutely, guys. I will message you and we'll organise it when you feel good again. I hope you're feeling a bit better each day. Yeah, it just feels like there's something else going on in the background that we don't know about, and that's why they're like, yeah, off you go. Like they're just sitting back waiting for that last little crumb to just fall into place or something. And it was great advice, Liz, in your video about people throwing shit and all the rest of it, and the negative side of YouTube that's been coming out. I agree with you 1,000,000%. And just the way you can, yeah, just describe how things are in all reality and the behaviors that are in place right now, and for what reasons and characters, is just amazing. And I value you so much. TBI has taken the case back. I wonder when and why. The last I heard, TBI had turned it over to Hawkins County. Really? I thought FBI had also been given a lot of authority in the case. Surely it's not just going to go back to Hawkins County solely. No. Please, Father God, Lord, no. So there was all this talk about the police going there after that live ended last night. Does anyone know for sure whether that happened or not? Hi, wishful thinking. How are you? Finally finding you when I'm on YouTube. I didn't see whole thing with MGL. I was surprised that the channel exited before shutting off. Don Wells seemed intentional almost. No, I think he dropped off by himself, didn't he, wishful thinking? Because they got on the phone to Tiffany and had a big chat with Tiffany after it and da-di-da-di-da. And I was like, I'm out. Patty says, Ohio is strict about problem with driving drunk and drugs and hurt kids. Yeah, because every state over there has different laws, don't they? With all this sort of, oh my gosh. Oh, Liz says she's thinking there may be something federal or TBI has taken over everything. I've been trying to watch for articles to clarify who is top dog. Yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I think everyone wants to know. No, he wasn't wishful thinking. Do you mean on Molly Golightly's one live last night? I think he dropped off first because they stayed on talking about what a wonderful job they did. Oh, Laura just thought she was like John Walsh of the year. I noticed she had a 3.5 hour live today telling people how fabulous she was, and she asked all the questions that no other creator asked. I'm like, okay, you go, girl. I don't know. I could not do that. I could not come on and be that brazen and say, did you see what I did last night? I was better than every other creator. Like, how good was I really? Oh my God. I'm sorry. Sorry, Liz. I'm being a shit. I'm being a big shit. And I'm going to bring shit upon myself. I will be mature again, okay? I'm just, I can't help it sometimes. Sometimes you've got to throw a tiny little bit of shit. If I got gloves on. Hi, Mama Bear 66. How are you? Thank you, all 40 of you who are here and not over on Doug's Awesome Live with 1,500 people. I appreciate you for being here. Between Doug and Bloody Ziggy, you can never get a time slot to come on when everyone else is not on. And you just think, oh, no one likes me anymore. Because I'll sit here and have a little pout. Oh, my God. Poor little me. See, I'm a Pisces. This is what we do. We sit here and feel sorry for ourselves and nah, I'm only joking. I don't. I can joke and say, but I totally own that I'm ditzy because I know I am. Like, I know I'm a bit childlike at times. Let's send her a big hand so she can pat herself on the back. Oh my God, Daisy White, you crack me up. I just love you. It does. It cracks me up that some of them are so narcissistic and they just do not have a fucking clue. It's just like, look at me, okay, mate. And most of our Americans are just not going to get that whatsoever. It's an Australian sitcom with these two bloody bogan Sheilas, Kath and Kim. And I hated it. I hated every minute of that show because there's a Shazza in it. And as you all know, I can't handle the whole Shazza thing. But if unicorns are real, is lurking around. She hasn't been well though, guys. So a big shout out to unicorns because I do know that she watches replays. Where's he going now? Is he just coming in? What the hell? I forgot what I was talking about. That's the little bomb work. Cute. The little Mazda. I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, little unicorn. She'll deliberately bait me to get me going. But it's always the same with them. At least you had earlier conversations like an adult. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I can't. Do you know what else I absolutely adore about John Hinged? Is his laugh. Hasn't he got the best little giggle happening? Oh my God. I just love it. He's a funny guy. Needs to stop showing off, yeah. I'm the 6th Mama Bear. Wow, we really are close Pisces. I do get a little bit, I do get sentimental and a bit sookies. Someone, I don't know. I am very sentimental though. But I don't chuck tantrums and what about me and all that sort of stuff. Hell no. Yeah, the real Gigi, you love his laugh too. It is. It's like a little male giggle, I call it. It's really cool. Oh, you love it here, Mcos. Thank you. I love you being here. So I have to go soon because guess what's on today? You guessed it, V8 Supercars. I think it's 4:30, the first race, and then there's a 7:30 p.m. evening race in the dark, so that'll be cool as well. Go the Fords. Yeah, it was, wasn't it, Daisy? But yeah, go over and I'll see if I can find it. Oh, my mum. I have to go back to home, don't I? These 2 videos I'm telling you is about of John Crimes. It's in his documentary section. It might come up on. Yeah, it does. Oh my God, I'm going to do a thing about this one. Oh, I'll put the screen on. You just learn so much from these awesome creators, don't you? Like the way they do things. And so if you go to his playlists, this is the one, Mezza Smith, the story. I was right, Vera Joe. I'll just show you the beginning of it. I'll just play the first minute.
Those steps walking away was the last thing you ever heard. It's powerful, hey? That's it. It's Messersmith, the story of Vera Jo. Oh, gosh. And there's the other one I watched a whole lot of. Is not community playlists we want. You go to true crime documentaries. Stop. So if she
The Heart Kids with I Am Me. Caitlin. This one here. I'm not going to play any of it. The story of Caitlin is the other one. And they are fantastic. And you can see for yourself
not the mudslinging side of him, but the actual real channel of John Crimes and the art of what he's doing with these cases is phenomenal. He's amazing. I've never seen one like the Sugar, little Vera Joe. I've never seen one done like he did it, but have some tissues handy. I've been here listening to you while prepping for Sunday dinner. Hi, Mad Miss Hedda. Good to see you again. I wanted to say hello before you got off and send some love. Oh, thank you. Your voice is the calm and beauty after a storm. Oh, thank you so much. I love seeing you back again. That's the big bit, is seeing everyone come back, and that makes me really happy. I saw the video, Real Gigi says. It did not show him punching her, just Candace spouting gibberish all through. No knife shown, no facts to support it, and stopped when he went off. Yeah. It was a lot. But yeah, you couldn't visually see too much at all, could you? Hello, Iron Crime. How are you? Haven't talked to you for a few days. I hope you're doing good. Is it stormy up your way? We're about to get like 6 days in a row. It's rained for like the last 3 days, but real patchy. We seem to have a bit of a storm and then the sun will come out again, whereas I think the next few days it's supposed to be pretty constant, which is a pain in the butt. Happy car race watching Down Under Crime Stalks. Maybe I should change it. Guys, Down Under Crime Stalks. That'll be cute. You have stuff to do too, Daisy. But thank you for coming, everybody. Oh, you love the channel. I'm glad you love it here. But yeah, it was interesting about the Starlink thing. I was like, whoa. So Prayer Garden, if you ever do watch this, I apologise. You were right. I was wrong. I own my mistakes. And yeah, there is some storms brewing. You can, like, it's just twirling blackness out there now. The little one's due home soon, so there is definitely a storm coming. We dropped her at her dad's yesterday, so I've had like 24 hours of a little bit of quiet time, so that's been good. You got to go too, Josie? Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Everyone will be back at school and back at work, so that'll be good. Get some me time happening. I'm going to show you one of the quilts quilted tomorrow. That'll be exciting, won't it? And I'll chuck a premiere up when I get off for tomorrow so people know what time and that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you could pop in for a little bit too, wishful thinking. Yeah, and big hugs to you, Liz, if you're still here. Hope you're getting better by the minute, girl. We're here for you anytime. And thank you, mods. And thank you, everyone, for coming in on this Australian Sunday afternoon. But I haven't had lunch, and I'm going to go and have something to eat and then sit down and watch my B8 Supercast. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow or in other chats. I'll still be in and around, just not on here on mine. Good night, Gina. Good night, everybody. See ya.